A video that highlighted the brutality of the Iraq War, showing a helicopter target and kill a group of Iraqi civilians. Up until this point, we've heard the outcry from the public after seeing this video. We've witnessed the manhunt by the government to find the people responsible for leaking the tape, but we've never really heard from the soldiers themselves, the ones featured in the Collateral murder video. That is until now. I traveled to Kansas this week and sat down with Ethan McCord. He's one of the ground soldiers, and his story is one of regret and heartbreak. Prepare yourself. This report is not a pretty one.
More that keep walking by, and one of them has a weapon.
It was the video that put WikiLeaks on the map, turned the tide of war in Iraq, and landed Private First Class Bradley Manning in military detention. But for Army veteran Ethan McCord, it was just another day on duty.
The helicopters, they were approximately about 1.5 miles away when they were zooming in on these guys. And from looking at it now, you can't see anything. I mean, that right there is obviously a camera dangling, if you were to really pay attention. That guy has an AK-47 right there.
Baghdad, Iraq. 2007, the 216th Battalion was out patrolling a volatile part of the city.
I was about 5 blocks away, 4 or 5 blocks away to the left of the screen. This was a battalion-wide mission.
And then the situation turned deadly.
Come on, fire!
We heard the Apaches firing.
Ethan and his infantry squad began running toward the scene to provide support. Again, the Apache helicopter opened fire.
Come on!
When he arrived on the scene, the Apache guns were quiet. The accused enemies were dead.
I just drove over a body. Yeah.
One guy's head, the top of his head was completely off, and his brains were on the ground, and the smell still haunts me today. I don't even know how to describe it. When
he approached the van, a noise Ethan wasn't expecting, a cry of a little girl.
I think she was 4 years old, and you could tell she had a wound to the stomach. And I remember her looking at me, and the blood around her eyes made her eyes so ghostly white.
Ethan grabbed the girl and ran into a nearby building. He then picked glass out of her eyes so she could blink and handed her off to a medic.
I went back outside and was told to take pictures, so I started taking pictures of the inside of the van.
And that's when he discovered the little boy.
And that's me.
What's in your arms?
That is a little boy who I originally thought was dead.
Despite their injuries, the children survived. But part of Ethan changed forever that day.
But I couldn't stop myself from crying. I couldn't stop myself from feeling the way that I was feeling.
When he did seek mental help, he says he was mocked by his commanders and threatened with expulsion from the military.
That's when I started drinking. Mental health had given me prescriptions, 13 prescriptions, of Geodon, Depakote, Prozac. I mean, I was a zombie.
But things got worse.
I started daydreaming of killing my own children and everybody around me.
So Ethan took matters into his own hands.
I'd already begun drinking pretty heavily, and I downed all the pills, and I drank 1/5 of Crown Royal, 10 o'clock in the morning. And my wife at the time found me.
That was the first time Ethan tried to take his own life. After that, he was dismissed from the Army.
I was kicked out with no disability, no benefits from the Army whatsoever.
He returned to Wichita, and then Ethan attempted suicide for a second time.
I actually wrote a poem right before I did it, before I put the gun in my mouth. And I don't know if I really want to talk about it.
Ethan's story is tragic, yes, but he certainly isn't alone. Tens of thousands of military veterans suffer the effects of PTSD long after they leave the battlefield. And for those who simply can't cope with the stress, oftentimes they choose to end their own lives. Their fathers and brothers, sons and soldiers. And now they're simply another casualty in American wars abroad. In the past 2 years alone, Ethan has lost 8 of his veteran brothers to suicide, and his outlook on life hasn't improved with time.
I know that I will never, ever get better. I'll never get over this.
For the world, the Collateral murder video was just another black mark on an unpopular war. For Ethan, it was a catalyst that made him question the entire purpose of the Iraq War.
You know, America, John Wayne, you know, we wear the white hat. Americans are always out. All we're doing is trying to help people. That's all we do. We're just trying to spread freedom and democracy through the barrel of a gun.
History will be the ultimate determinant of how the Iraq War is viewed. But for Ethan and so many soldiers suffering from post-war stress, the future is far and the past is too much to cope with. Reporting from Wichita, Kansas, Megan Lopez, RT.